Look at these four numbers: $10,000, $100,000, $1 million, and $5 million. These are not just bigger versions of the same number. Each one changes a completely different part of your life. At the first level, emergencies stop becoming disasters. At the second, your money finally begins doing real work. At the third, your job becomes negotiable. And at the fourth, money may stop being the main limitation on your life. But here is the part most people get wrong. The biggest emotional change may happen at the smallest number on this screen, not at $1 million. By the end of this video, you will know what each level actually unlocks, why some millionaires still feel trapped, and which level should matter most to you right now. Most people assume that $10,000 is too small to change anything. It will not buy a house, it will not fund your retirement, and it probably will not make anyone think you are rich. But $10,000 can change something more immediate. It changes what happens when life goes wrong. Imagine your car suddenly needs an $1,800 repair. When your net worth is negative and your checking account is almost empty, this is not just a repair. It becomes credit card debt. It becomes interest. It becomes a missed payment. It becomes an argument at home. And sometimes it becomes a problem that follows you for the next year. But with $10,000 of accessible savings and investments, the exact same event is annoying rather than destructive. The bill did not change. Your ability to absorb it changed. That is the first major net worth transformation. Your life stops being financially fragile. But there's an important distinction here. $10,000 inside an old car, furniture, or possessions does not protect you from an emergency. The part that changes your daily life must be liquid or reasonably accessible. This is why someone can technically have a positive net worth and still feel broke every morning. Their wealth exists on paper, but it cannot solve Tuesday's problem. The practical move at this level is not to search for the perfect investment. It is to create separation between you and financial disaster. Build a basic cash reserve. Eliminate the debt that grows faster than your investments reasonably can, and stop using every unexpected expense as an excuse to restart from zero. $10,000 does not create freedom, it creates stability, and stability is the first form of financial power. The first $100,000 is where the math begins to feel different. Before this point, almost all your progress comes from your own effort. You work, you save, you transfer money, and the account moves because you forced it to move. At $100,000, your capital can finally produce changes large enough for you to notice. Consider a hypothetical 7% year. A $10,000 portfolio might gain $700, useful but not life-changing. A $100,000 portfolio could gain $7,000 before you contribute another cent. That's when money stops feeling like a static pile and begins feeling like a machine. Some years that machine moves backwards, returns are never guaranteed, but the scale has changed permanently. Your capital is now large enough to compete with your personal savings. Suppose you invest $1,000 per month. That's $12,000 per year. At $100,000, a strong market year may produce more than half of your annual personal contributions. This is the second transformation. You are no longer building wealth entirely alone. Your previous money has started helping your future money. But this level creates a dangerous temptation. The moment people reach $100,000, they often decide that they have earned a better car, a larger apartment, more expensive vacations, or a completely different lifestyle. They interrupt the machine just as it begins working. The smartest move at this stage is deliberately boring. Do not treat $100,000 as permission to look wealthy. Treat it as the foundation that may eventually make you wealthy. Keep your fixed expenses under control.
automate contributions, diversify rather than gambling on one exciting asset, and give the portfolio enough time to become more important than your paycheck. This level gives you momentum. It does not yet give you full freedom. And the next level is where people make the biggest mistake of all. They assume $1 million automatically means they're rich. It does not. $1 million is the most emotionally loaded number in personal finance. It sounds like the finish line. It looks impressive on a screen. And for decades, the word millionaire has been treated as another word for rich. But $1 million does not create the same life for everyone. A person spending $35,000 per year may be close to financial independence. A family spending $120,000 per year is in a completely different position. The number is identical. The freedom is not.
At a 3 to 4% annual withdrawal rate, a $1 million portfolio represents roughly $30,000 to $40,000 per year before taxes. That can support a modest life. It can supplement part-time work, it can allow someone to leave a toxic job, but it cannot automatically support every version of the American dream. This is why some millionaires still feel financially trapped. Their net worth increased, but their required lifestyle increased with it. Still, $1 million creates a profound shift. You may no longer need to accept every decision made by an employer. You can survive a longer job search. You can take a calculated career risk. You can reduce your hours. You can move somewhere cheaper. You can spend a year building a business without immediately destroying your financial life. That is the third transformation. Work becomes negotiable, not necessarily optional, negotiable, and that distinction matters. The practical strategy at this level is to stop measuring wealth only by your account balance. Measure it against your annual spending. $1 million divided by $30,000 of annual spending is more powerful than $2 million divided by $200,000 of annual spending. The person with the larger account is not always the person with the greater freedom. Your lifestyle determines how much power each dollar has. And now we reach the final level, the point where the game begins to change again. Because after a certain amount, the next dollar buys very little additional comfort. What it buys instead is control. $5 million is not private jet money. It is not buy anything forever money, and someone with extreme spending can still burn through it. But for a person with a controlled lifestyle, $5 million can create a level of autonomy that $1 million usually cannot. A 3% withdrawal represents approximately $150,000 per year before taxes. That supports far more than basic survival. It can support housing, health care, travel, family expenses, and a comfortable margin without requiring the portfolio to produce an aggressive return every year. The main change is no longer what you can buy. It is what you can refuse. You can refuse a bad employer. You can refuse a dishonest client. You can refuse to live in a place you hate because the salary is higher. You can refuse to sacrifice every healthy year for the possibility of freedom when you are old. At this level, time begins to replace money as the scarce resource. Another $10,000 may not noticeably improve your home, your food, or your daily comfort, but an extra year with your children can never be purchased later. A healthy body cannot always be recovered, and delayed experiences do not remain available forever. That creates a new financial risk. At lower levels, the danger is spending too much. At this level, the danger can be refusing to use the freedom you already built. Some people spend their entire lives climbing. They reach the point where they could stop, but they have forgotten how. Their net worth says they are free. Their habits say they are still broke. The practical move at this level is to define what enough means before the number keeps moving. Decide what kind of home, schedule, relationships, work, and experiences you actually want. Otherwise, 5 million becomes 10 million, 10 million becomes 20, and the finish line continues moving until time makes the decision for you.
Here is the surprising truth. The largest mathematical change happens at the higher levels, but the largest emotional change may happen at the first one. Going from $5 million to $6 million probably won't transform your average Tuesday. Going from zero accessible savings to $10,000 might. It can change how you sleep, how you respond to a broken car, how much fear you feel when your employer schedules a meeting, and how much pressure enters every financial decision. This is why blindly chasing the highest number is the wrong strategy. The most important level is not $5 million. It is the next level that removes the biggest constraint from your current life. When you are fragile, you need safety. When you are stable, you need momentum. When you have momentum, you need choice. And when you have choice, you must decide what freedom is actually for. $10,000 means one emergency no longer destroys you. $100,000 means your money begins working beside you. $1 million means work becomes a choice you can negotiate. $5 million means money may no longer be the main limitation on your time. The goal is not to impress strangers with the largest possible number. The goal is to build enough financial power to remove the problem that currently controls your life. And once that problem disappears, you move to the next one. That is how money actually changes life. Not smoothly, not equally, but in 4 very different jumps. Which of these 4 levels would change your life the most right now? Safety, momentum, choice, or autonomy? Write your answer in the comments and subscribe if you want to build wealth for freedom, not just for a larger number on a screen.